Hello learners, how are you all? Hope you all are doing well and utilizing this lockdown period in study and spending some quality time with your family too. I, Dr. Prerna Mandhyan, again welcoming you in the video series, and the topic that we are going to cover today is gender as a social construct, gender roles, gender bias and educational practices. This is the third video. As we have already discussed gender as a social construct, gender bias, gender roles and other related concepts. So today we focus more on the educational practices or the educational implications that are needed to understand the gender as a social construct. So let's start today's discussion. Before we know about the educational implications, we should know what are the important dimensions or the elements of education. There are three important dimensions of education. The first one is the teacher, the second one is the student, and the third one is the curriculum. Interaction between the teacher, student and curriculum make the education complete and more qualitative. As we are discussing here educational implications for the gender equity or the equality, so here we will discuss about the gender equitable approach to education. Generally, we associate the gender equity with the girls' education and exclusion of boys. But there is a need to go beyond the simple access issues and ensure a comprehensive understanding of gender. According to Skeleton as cited in Amott in 2004, a gender equity program should make an assessment of any institution at 4 key questions. In the next slide, we will discuss the 4 questions. On the basis of these 4 questions, we understand if the institution is following the gender equitable approach. So here are the questions on which we assess the institutions are following the gender equitable approach or not. The first question is, what perception of masculinity and femininity are children bringing to school? And what are they acting out in the classroom and the playground? Here the very important aspect is that what is the formal relation or the behavior of the students in the classroom and what is the informal behavior in the playground regarding the perception of masculinity and femininity. The second question is, what are the dominant images of masculinity and femininity that the school conveys to them? Here the role of school or any educational institution is very important, and here the teacher and the curriculum play a very important role. How the teacher is conveying the concept of masculinity and femininity to the students. The third question is gender equality a concern in terms of what the institution wants and expects its teacher? Is a very important question. Again, the role of teacher is very important. Is the teacher's private behavior or personal perception is promoting the gender equality or not? And the fourth question to assess the gender equitable approach in any educational institution is, what initiative, strategies and projects can the whole institution undertake to develop a program for gender equality? Here the role of institution, the role of authority of any institution play a very important role. Are they promoting the gender equality or the equity in their institutions? If they are promoting, then what are the initiatives, what are the strategies they are following, and what are the different projects they pursue to promote the gender equality? As we come to know that gender equitable approach is very important for any institution to promote the gender equality or equity. So here we come to know what is gender equitable. Gender equitable doesn't mean to make the institutions more girl friendly. It means also that challenging the culture of authority, hierarchy and social control in the majority of school or any educational institution. As you know that the authority, hierarchy and social control is generally controlled by the male member of the society. So here the gender equitable means to change or to challenge that culture of authority or the hierarchy or the social control. At a general level, it would mean changes to curriculum, the breaking down of hierarchies and power networks that exclude girls and women. So if we consider at a general level, that we can say that we have to make change in the curriculum, the educational curriculum, so that we would be able to break down the hierarchies and all the power networks that are excluding girls and women. In fact, we are able to develop a mentality to promote the girls' education. Not only this, but also in gender equitable approach, students would be encouraged to challenge narrow-minded concepts and prejudices and envision an expanded and divergent future. As we have already discussed that here the change in the mindset is very important. So as we see that the students are the future of any country, so in gender equitable approach we encourage the students to change their mindset, and this calls for making teaching and curriculum gender equitable in schools. So challenging the power hierarchy relations and the power and bringing the change in the mindset of the students, some changes in the teaching and the curriculum make gender equitable in schools. Now the education and gender equality. To promote the gender equality in any educational institution, teaching is the important component to promote gender equality. In fact, it is a central component to promote gender equality, and it is a sign of good quality education. To increase equality of access to education and to sustain progress towards education for all, it is necessary to develop new teaching methods, new ways of learning and curricula that enable girls and boys to participate in learning as equals. We will discuss in the upcoming slides about the teaching methods, the styles of teaching, the new ways of learning and even curriculum too, that develop the students to promote the gender equality. Beside the formal classroom or the formal lessons or the behavior, the informal behavior of the students' practices plays a very important role to promote the gender equality. For example, in playgrounds or during meal times also affect how girls and boys learn. So gender equality needs to be a central part of the development of the school curriculum and ways of teaching. There are different ways to promote the gender equality outside the classroom by the teachers. Like in this example, here we have discussed the playgrounds or the during meal times, how the students are sharing their groups, how the team is constructed, how many girls and the boys are sharing their lunch or playing in the playgrounds together. Now, how the curriculum promote the gender equality? Do you all think so that curriculum promote the gender equality? Yes, curriculum promote the gender equality, but we have to ensure that curriculum development involves consultation at all levels of society about gender equality. And what are the decisions we are taking for the women and girls, especially those girls who belongs to the marginalized sections of the society because of language, social practice or environmental degradation. For example, literacy learning in a way that enhances their confidence so that they can begin to transfer their lives. Because we generally see that the girls belong to the marginalized section of the society are lacking in their confidence. So if we make them confident, at least their literacy learning program or their literacy can be enhanced. The learning method and gender equality. Learning is always related to the students, how they are perceiving their knowledge or the education. Often images in textbooks are simply checklisted for their portrayal of gender images. Before sometimes there were some books. In books there is a picture. In the picture, the woman is busy in their household chores or in the kitchen work, and the male member of the family is watching TV on the sofa, and the girl child of the family is playing with the doll, and the boy child of the family was playing is playing with the gun and the Avengers like toys. So this picture, the image of this picture, what clicks in your mind? Very clear picture. That is, the woman or the female member of the society is always belong to the household chores or the kitchen work, and the male member of the society and the male member of the family is only watching the TV without helping the female member of the family. So if the children are watching or the seeing this type of images in their family or in the textbooks, so what they are learning, will they be ready to promote the gender equality? No, never. So we should be very conscious about what are the images in the textbook of the children. So we should concern what is the portrayal of gender images in that pictures. The classroom interaction and gender equity, as we have discussed in the first slide of this video, that education has three important dimensions: the teacher, the student and the curriculum. So interaction between the teacher, student and the curriculum is very important to promote the gender equity. So whatever the content of the curriculum, equity will not be achieved if girls are discouraged from speaking, if boys absorb a disproportionate amount of the teacher's energy, nor if the physical environment does not support equal access to education. If we see the example, sometimes we see that the teachers, either male or the female teachers, are generally discouraging the girls to speak, and the studies shows that the students or boys students are absorbing a disproportionate amount of the teacher's energy, positively or negatively. Besides these, if the physical environment does not support the equal access to education, gender equity can't be achieved. If we talk about the physical environment, if there is no provision of girls' toilet and wheelchair access, so how the girls can be remain for the long time in the classrooms or in the school, and how the disadvantaged children will be able to attend the class or will be present in the educational institution if they don't have access of wheelchair. Teacher and gender equality. Teacher is the most important aspect of any educational institution who can promote the gender equality. If the curriculum is good, but if the teacher is not capable to deliver it, then the all education system become dull. So the curriculum is only as good as the teachers who deliver it. Despite extensive gender inequalities outside school, teachers can make a difference inside the schools. Here the example is Sometimes it happens that the teachers already have some prejudices about the girl students, that they are not capable of doing some subjects like the mathematics. So if already teacher assumes that the girl would not be able to solve any mathematical calculations, then the girl will be demoralized or they don't get any motivation. But if teachers assume that a girl can learn mathematics, it will affect their approach to teaching girls and their expectations of what girls can achieve in their subject. So what are the assumptions or what are the prejudices that the teachers are having and entering in the classroom can affect the classroom environment. Sometimes teachers, with their appearance, unintentionally or with non-verbal actions, can create the gender bias atmosphere in the classroom. So a teacher should organize classroom in a way that make all students feel equal. Not only this, the teachers should establish rules from the very beginning that promote the equality. Not only this, teachers should expect equal academic behavior for all the students. Many studies shows that the teachers have assumptions about the particular gender regarding the performance of any subject. So teachers should expect that all the students are equal beside their gender. To promote the gender equality in any educational institution, teachers need to work through some of the implications of local gender issues and to support teachers in developing the confidence to encourage participation from pupils and the local community in shaping a vision for gender equality. For example, if the teacher is teaching in the tribal areas or in the rural areas, the presence of girls students are very less in comparison to the urban areas. So now the teacher should come to know what are the reasons that the girls children are not coming to the schools. So what are the local issues that are some restraint to the girls students. So in this way the teacher can promote the gender equality. Besides this, the teacher's private life and their personal behavior always affect the students. So if the teacher in their private life and their personal behavior are promoting the gender equality, definitely it motivates the students for gender equality. Here the example is given to understand the role of teacher to promote the gender equality, that the teachers have to learn how to make their students become aware of their sexuality and in this age of HIV/AIDS provide a model of risk-free sex behavior. So these are the very important or the need of the time that students should aware about these about their sexuality or the HIV/AIDS issues. So here the teacher should make them learn or understand what is the role of sexuality at which age. Language of instruction also play a very important role in gender equality. Teachers should use gender neutral language. Sometimes in English people use male pronouns when referring to a group. If the teacher is doing like this, the girls feel inferior. For example, the generally teacher use in the classroom, "Good morning guys." The guys word belong to the males or the boys students. So the guys should be replaced with the word "Good morning everyone" or the "Good morning everybody." So the language of instruction is very important here. Secondly, children who are geographically or culturally marginalized from mainstream education may find themselves being taught in a language that they do not use. Like in the northern belt, like in the UP, Bihar, MP, the mostly students belong to the Hindi medium, or that they easily understand the Hindi. If the teachers are using more English in their lectures, the students feel underprivileged. They didn't get what the teacher is saying. For example, girls and women often have less access to and use of national prestige language than men. Here the prestige is in inverted commas. The national prestige language here is the English. Mostly you find that the girls or the women basically belong to the marginalized section of the society would not be able to understand the national prestige language in comparison to the men. Now the methods of assessment also promote gender equality. Beside examination, the continuous assessment should be used to promote the gender equality, because when we take the examination, the first term and the second term or the third term or the annual examination, only the performance for 3 hours make the selection or the performance of the students. But if we go for the continuous assessment, we can find out all the activities or whole year performance of the students. In addition, girls could have more equal opportunities in school if teachers talk to them more and more motivation for participating in different activities. Generally we see that the girls are the passive types. They are not very active like the boys. So if girls have more equal opportunities in schools and teachers promote them or motivate them in participation of different activities, so it could be possible that the teachers to some extent promote the gender equality. Now the activity time, as we do in all the videos. The first activity here is, in order to avoid gender stereotyping in class, a teacher should, because we have already discussed the role of teachers, so the question is, what should do a teacher in order to avoid gender stereotyping in class? The option A is, try to put both boys and girls in non-traditional roles. B, appreciate students' good work by saying good girl or a good boy. Discourage girls from taking part in wrestling. And the fourth one is, encourage boys to take risk and be bold. Answer is not given. You all have to answer in the comment section of the video, so that I would assess my lecture that all you are able to understand or not. The next activity question is, during classroom discussion, a teacher often pays more attention to boys than girls. This is an example of gender bias, gender identity, gender relevance and gender constancy. I think this question I have already given in second or the first video, but the question is repeated again because I didn't get the answer. So please give the answer in the comment section of the video. And the last activity of this video, the question is, which of the following is an effective strategy to reduce children's gender stereotyping and gender role conformity? The first option is discussion about gender bias. Second, emphasizing gender specific roles. C, gender segregated seating arrangement. And D, gender segregated playgrounds. Answer is again not given. You all have to answer in the comment section of the video. So the students, today in this video we have discussed the educational implications or the educational practices needed to understand the gender as a social construct. we have already discussed gender bias and gender roles, and this is the last video under this concept. I hope you all would be able to understand the concepts of gender and the concepts related to the gender, and these videos will definitely help you in cracking the CTET examination, and this video is also useful for the students who are pursuing the B.Ed. So keep watching my videos. If you like it, please share it, like it and subscribe it. If you want to give any feedback, please do under the comment section of this video. So students, best of luck for your examination, and thank you.